Hey, Thrand here, and I'm here with the Egyptian Bronze Age once again, and I'm very excited because this is the conclusion video. This is the actual video where we get to test the Rawhide scale armor, or they could have used Lamellar as well. They did have Lamellar. Early period scale is very possible. You'll see an example of this on the Nova program with Mike Loads. So a shout out to Mike Loads out there. I love that program very much. He tested the Charioteer armor. It was made a lot like this one. This is an exact replication of it. It's similar, but it's overlapped a lot though. I want to make sure the Rawhide scraps that I had left when I made this piece would give us the best representation of what Rawhide, and this is cow Rawhide, can do. That's untanned hide that's just been dried out. So we've got it on here. It's got up to 4 layers of thickness. It's going to be over this analog ballistics gel here you see. While you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, comment, and share the video, because that helps us out and we need that right now. And I'd like to thank everybody from Patreon. They helped us out and they've been helping us out, and a shout out to y'all out there. You can go by Patreon. We're going to have a special on Patreon just to let you know from this video, a continuation of it. But today we're testing this, the actual Charioteer style armor. It's Egyptian scale armor. They do have Lamellar, and yes, I know somebody's going to make a comment out there about Lamellar that they probably wouldn't have had this, they would have had Lamellar. They did have scale as well. So from depictions and stuff that we see, we're pretty positive. We're going to have multiple layers of linen wrapped under this. This is our analog ballistics gel here of a body. It doesn't have any ribs in it, but if I do hit over this plastic, that could very much act like a rib cage. We're not going to intentionally do that, but it would be solid like ribs. Back in the day, they could have had hide armor, like thick hides like I'm wearing here as well, and just the linen, possibly just the linen. So we'll see how these weapons do today. We're testing the bronze Khopesh, the Egyptian Bronze Age spear. That this design remained the same all the way into the middle of Bronze Age for the Egyptians. They loved this spear design. It was good for throwing and for fighting. It was a shorter spear. I do have the counterbalance weight on it, and we also have the Canaanite duckbill axe. And I know you're going to say the Egyptians had axes that look different than this one. Yes, but they did use this one as well. They're a big trade mecca. Just like I'm wearing a tunic today, a sleeveless tunic. Very plausible. I don't know if it'd be black in the desert, but they could have a tunic just like I'm wearing later, period. So I'm doing the later Egyptian age today. So let's get going. Let's start testing. We're going to wrap this with our linen. We're going to secure our scale on, and we're going to see what we can do. And thank you, Neil Burridge, for these excellent reproductions of Bronze Age weapons. This is not an Egyptian shield, but it is made a lot like one could have been made. It's covered in hide, glued on, and it's wooden planks. It does have a steel boss, and they would have had a bronze boss, and the handle might have been to the back and not have a hole through the center. But anyway, we've got a shield just to show how this would work. We're starting off with the Khopesh, and you'd be fighting behind a shield, be fighting around it, and having to hit. So you're not going to follow through the exact same way you would as if you were just stepping in and cutting. So if anybody asks why I'm not using it with the shield today, that's because I'm going to give it everything I got, because I don't think this Charioteer armor is going to give us any quarter here. It's going to stop everything it can. It is tough. We've got multiple layers of linen, and we'd like to get into that gel today. So I'm going to put the shield down, the shoulder down. And yes, that's more of a later period Viking or Saxon shield, a small one. But we're going to go ahead and do it this way, because I want to be able to step into it and give it everything I got. I'm going to go ahead and give it one good cut and see what happens, because I noticed that when Mike Loads did this, he never tested anything like that. He tested arrows. He tested spears. We want to try with a actual Khopesh. Oh! Well, Neil makes a good Khopesh. It did not bend it. I don't think it hurt it, but that's the thing about the Egyptian Khopesh. It doesn't cut as clean or as smooth as a as the Canaanite version that doesn't have all the ridges, but this one's more likely to bend. This one's more likely to hold up. I mean, it may have warped it, not gonna lie, just a hair, not much, nothing major. But it did not do anything. I wasn't really expecting it to, but all we did is score it. I don't even think there's a point to take another cut at it. This man is cut proof. He is basically cut proof. The only thing we might be able to do here, and that would be to come in with a thrust, and I'll try to get it as straight on as possible, but where everybody can see me. And what they would do is probably very much like the Romans. They would come in, use the hip motion, and try to come up into it. But I'm going to try to get it straighter on, because we need to push through that. So I hit too low, hit too low. Let's see what happened. I hit over, it made it through, but it didn't make it through the cloth. I can't cut myself through it, so it is in it though. If we want to take a good look at this, you can see it on the GoPro, correct?
Yep.
So it was able to cut these scales. That's impressive. But it did hit cloth over solid. I didn't hit over the right area, so we need to pull that out. It is still razor sharp. It didn't damage our point at all. But that would have hurt that man, even over a bone. He would have been fine. Let's try again. I got to go between these two reds to hit the gel. And that is over gel. And we were able to pierce all the way through, but it didn't even hit the next layer of fabric. Let's just show this real quick. This is definitely a show. We've got to look at it. And then we'll put this back on. Good thing about him, his arms come right off for you. We want to show this. We want to show this. This is a show. And I don't think the Khopesh is going to do any better than this. I really don't. I don't care how much force you put behind it. It didn't make it through. It made it through all the layers. All right. We're trying to get it off of here. I don't want it to totally fall out of the hole it went in, but it made it all the way through to where you can feel it sticking through on the inside, but it didn't make it through this cloth. So you'd be protected without even this. This might be absorbing a little of the shock, but yeah, Khopesh not thrusting through, not cutting through, still almost perfectly straight. Neil Burridge did an excellent job. The Egyptian's idea, even though it's not as streamlined for beautiful slicing, like slicing bottles and heads off as well, it still holds up so much better. I think it was for a chariot with their charioteer armor, riding by and slashing people, and you wouldn't have to worry about your Khopesh bending at all, I'll tell you that much. And Kitty came up with that idea, so give her, Caddy came up with that idea, so be sure and give her all the credit for that one. That is probably why they did it this way with all the ridges. We're back with a Canaanite duckbill axe, and this axe performed exceptionally well against Akitan style gambeson head armor, which we believe the Egyptians could have easily done. We believe they use multiple layers of linen like we've done under here, or actually put some padding, some batting in between some fabrics, the same thing, linen, and created some kind of head armor. We believe they used cloth head armor. That's what we see in depictions. Some of them might have had some bone mixed in it, wood pieces, who knows. Rawhide even laced onto it, but that would be a different kind of armor like we have here. But one test that we did, we hit that. It was able to turn this axe. At first I thought that I hit incorrectly. If you look closely, it hit right on. It was able to turn it. So there's something to be said about the cloth head armor. But in the end, this was able to pierce through and directly into the skull. So if any what we axe has a chance of piercing this, it would be this Canaanite duckbill axe. It's very much like the Russian axe that was found in Novgorod, Russia during the time of the Varangian Guard. It very well could have been a Northman's axe. But since the high content of lamellar scale, which they would have had steel, or not steel, but actually iron at the period, verging on steel, you would need axes with very small streamlines like the old Roman axes to pierce such things, and we have proven it. It will pierce thinner pieces of plate and give you a better chance of going through. So this is done very much. The Canaanite duckbill axe was a weapon, not a wood chopping axe. It's made out of bronze, and the idea of it was it could pierce armor and pierce things like that. It's shaped very much like a military pick in the idea it's a duckbill shape, so it's more pointed, but it's not such a point that it would get damaged easily in battle and need to be straightened out or fixed, because that's the problem about bronze. It is, the core of it is softer than you know, let's say later century steels and iron. If they're done properly, that would mean they have some steel in them, hardened iron. But this one, we're going to go ahead and give it a go, and we're going to try to see what we can do and if we can make it through this actual scale. We do have a blooper I just did, and we did hit it once. We're going to hit it again. If you want to see that blooper, it will be included on Patreon. Going to give it everything I got here. Oh, it just bounced it. It bounced it. It looks like we hit right here. We hit here, right? We're able to cut into a scale. but it did not go through. So it's already been hit once, and I hit it again. But you know, for good measure, because somebody's going to say Thrand didn't do it right, we'll give it one more good one. Oh. This time it looks like, where did we hit? Same area? Same area. Yeah, this is sharp. It is very, very sharp. I'm even getting paint off the scales on the, actually looks quite good on it. But it's very, very sharp, but you can see, I hope you can see with the GoPro here, it's not going through. So we're done with the Canaanite duckbill axe for now. We'll be moving on to the Egyptian spear. And I think this might have a chance. Might have a chance, especially with this design. It pierces so easily, and it's a lot more streamlined than, let's say, something like this version of a Middle Bronze Age spear, which probably required a lot less bronze to make. And it's reinforced with the wood much more than this is. But this, yeah, this is definitely a piercer. This shaft on the spear is quite big around, but I like the way it feels. It's very smooth. It's made out of poplar. Okay, so it's lightweight. There's other woods you could use that would be more durable, harder to break. The grain is all going the same way. But we also have a weight on the back, which a lot of the Egyptian spears, believe it or not, had a ball or a weight on the back, and they were very short. Some of them were around this height here, you know, about right here. So this was just a hair longer. But we have a weight on the back, and yeah, you see depictions with Egyptian spears that have a ball on the back of them, or a weight, some kind of counterbalance. Now, does that affect the way the spear is used? Yeah, people are going to argue that that was the big reason for it. No, it's also in this lighter shaft we have here, our pole on the spear, not being something like ash or something that has a little more weight to it, it gives some power to the thrust. So when I do the overarm technique, which is what I'm going to need to use to go through this, underarm's not doing it. We're gonna see if we can pierce this with a throwing motion. So I'm going to be using it very much like you see in the depictions of the Greeks and on the old statues. I don't know if the Egyptians did that, because I don't know if there's any depictions of them using their shield and coming in that way. But we're going to give it everything we got. I want to see if we can pierce this. Brad's overarm throwing slide. Brad's overarm throwing slide. So we're going to be coming in. Oh, I missed. Oh, way too far over. All right. Thrand's overarm throwing slide. Let's see what we can do here. It went through, but not the other layers of cloth in the back. So it does have potential here. If we can get it out. But it wasn't able to make it through the cloth in the back. You wouldn't even be injured, so no point in doing a big examination of that.
So you'd be a little bit injured, but the trauma would still hurt.
All right, let's see what we got here. It didn't make it through the back side of the cloth on this here at all. At the end, we will look at this and see behind it, but it did not make it through. I don't want to get cut. This is extremely sharp. Well, we do see potential here, so we'll give it another good go, right? I'm going to hang on to the spear, use the same throwing motion, but push. To try to get a little more out of it. I mean, I'm throwing it still. That is the best one yet. That is the best one yet. To try to get a little more out of it. Okay, we'll take it off on this one. Caddy, did you want to grab me the work knife? We're gonna see this one. This is protecting this, man. I am sorry. This is good armor. Somebody could argue all they want. This is rawhide. as long as you treat it where the elements don't make it soft again, like if you, I've got it painted or like a lacquer style paint. If you were to use something to treat it with, this is lightweight. It would breathe in the desert. This is scale. It could be Lamellar. If you are a Lamellar fan and you go, they never had scale. Didn't exist. Early period, we have depictions of it. I'm pretty sure it was scale, not Lamellar. Okay? But it still could be made into Lamellar. This stuff is amazing.
It's doing it again.
Did it go off on us? Okay. Oh, I thought I had this off. Okay, we just want this off for now. We want to show what it did. How far we made it through. So if you were wearing this, that's about how bad it would get you if this is all you had. This piece right here. If this is all you had, that's about as far as it would have made. It's still sharp. It made it through. We have a hole in the linen right here. I'm sorry, I don't think it made it into the gel. We can go ahead and try to find out, and the easiest way is just pull this down. He's got a small wound.
Yeah, he's bleeding for once.
It made it through, slightly. Yeah, we made him bleed. But I think he's laughing at us. What do you think?
I think he's going to be
but that
still
thrust,
killed over in two.
No, that thrust would have put him on the ground.
Yes, it still kill him over in two.
Oh, true, true. But without this, I think it could have been a little worse. But I mean, the deepest we got is what, maybe half an inch? Maybe half an inch, maybe. With this cloth, it didn't make a full half an inch, I don't think. But anyway, we're going to try the Throne test next.
Gonna have to do it then.
Oh, show this.
I'm gonna have to change up the phones just a touch.
Oh, good one, right over the gel. I'm pretty sure that's right over gel. We had run that same problem when we hit right over the gel. It's not making it through at all. So what's going on is effectively the gel gives, the multiple layers of cloth give, and it just can't go through. So on an actual body, not on the actual rib cage or something like that if it's right over your ribs, or something that doesn't give. I mean, your body gives. I don't care if it's over a rib, it would give, correct? If the body gives, when it hits, it's not able to make it completely through even the 2 layers of cloth on the back side. So would you need all that gambeson under it? It's questionable. I don't even know if you would need that.
It helps limit the force passing through into your body and seeing a rupture of a organ.
Yeah. For good measure, I'll throw again. That is the best I'm going to be able to do. So if this one didn't go clean through and kill him, nothing. Oh, that one's the best one. This is over gel, dead center, and this is probably the deepest we've gotten. So yeah, this was good. This was good. This is probably our money shot here. We usually go for that. I ran out of tape, so if anybody wants to know what's going on with the we have a Yule or Christmas special coming out soon. That's what we have, this kind of tape. I apologize. I know it's kind of cheesy, but Caddy saved the day with gift wrapping tape because we were out of electrical tape. A lot of times I use electrical tape or duct tape for certain things. The electrical tape's better for this because if you use duct tape, you'll never get it off easily. It's very difficult. So let's see what we got here. Let's get this off. It looks like it might have went into his body too. I don't know if I hit an area we already hit. That's the only thing. I hope we didn't Robin Hood, and I don't think we did because it's a flat line. This is from left to right, and we got lucky. What it is there's so many chances to hit 4 layers. We only went through 2 layers. So honestly, if we had hit 4 layers like we were doing earlier over the body, I don't think he would have been wounded. It's because of the way I laid it out. If I would have laid it out where it was always 4 layers, which is possible, it's kind of hard, but I mean it's possible. It probably wouldn't have went for it. This is the deepest we've gotten, so the Throne seemed to be more powerful. That's over a half inch. maybe 3/4 of an inch, maybe.
I don't know.
Now this is going to be the fun, seeing the wound is right here. And I'll see if I can get this out, because everybody can see it, I'm pretty sure.
Everyone can see it.
And this is so I can see how deep it went. We've got to count the cloth too. In the actual body, yeah, about 3/4 of an inch, because it compresses and everything. Let's go ahead and undo this, and what we're going to do is just pop off, and if you want to see what happened here, I'll put a little bit of bloopers out where we hit the arm and stuff like that, and the body.
It's been a while since you did anything like spear throwing.
I haven't thrown anything in a while, and I don't normally throw weighted javelins. They're not normally weighted, normally. I use those in hand, but we're just undoing this, and it's right here. It's right here. Where is it at? Where's the new wound? There it is.
That's the one you had.
And that's an actual cut. See, this one where it damaged it was more, where I hit it, was more like it's kind of a rupture too. This is an actual slice. That's an incision. But it's not very deep. But it's not deep at all. So, this man would not be dead. The armor, if you asked me, would it be worth having a whole suit of this stuff? I would have to say yeah. And I think the Mongols used something very similar to this out of hide or rawhides, and they wore silk under. So if anything did make it through like an arrow, they could actually pull it tight to keep the barbs from the arrow from holding it in, and then pull it out, supposedly. That's what I've heard historically many times. I've seen it in some documentaries, so I'm willing to bet that's the way they did it. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, share, and turn on your notifications. If you want to help us on Patreon, which you're going to get some really goodies for this video here, we're going to have a little bit of bloopers, possibly. I think we have some bloopers here. We have a few bloopers, and we will also have the test where we actually test archery. We're going to test arrows on it. So be sure and be on the lookout for that. Help us out on Patreon. You can donate to us if you like down below. There's lots of links in the description. And I hope everybody enjoyed this. Thank you again, Neil Burridge. I hope you're doing well. May the gods be with you. And I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're doing good, Neil Burridge. I'll thank you again for the bronze weapons, for his idea. This was his complete idea, having the special with all the Bronze Age weapons from the Egyptian age. So we did that. Thank you, Neil, and everybody out there. Have a happy new year, and we will see you soon. And as always, farewell.
At least you'll see us.
If you want to help support the channel, go by streamelements.com and sport a ThegnThrand YouTube shirt. Plus there's many more items. You can come visit me on Twitch, Thrand11. I do extreme gaming every night after 12 a.m. CST, US time. You can become a patron on Patreon and help support the channel and see content that can only be seen there.